I am here today because my dad received a call on July 7th, 2023, the day before he died. He was chosen for the September 6th honor flight, which is 68 years to the day today that he enlisted in the United States Air Force. Every veteran here has a guardian today, so I'm my dad's guardian angel. He's my angel and I'm guarding him. He is an amazing dad, a wonderful husband to my mom, and a very proud veteran.
Earl Cochran.
And I am Terry Colbus.
I was in the infantry. I was assigned to the 1st Air Cavalry Division, 2nd Battalion, 12th Cavalry, Company C. We were in the Central Highlands in the beginning, and then we went down south towards Cambodia. We ambushed the Ho Chi Minh Trail a lot. And it consisted of patrols and ambushes. And then we were out in the jungle 3 weeks out of the month. They'd bring us back in for a week to pull perimeter guard on a forward LZ. We'd stay there a week and then they'd take us back out to the jungle for 3 weeks.
I got my draft notice in the summer of '69 and then went down to see about what's up. I was already thinking ahead. I knew I wanted to have a college degree. So I went down to check and talk to a recruiter about GI Bill benefits. And he said, why don't you just enlist for 2 years? I said, I didn't know you could. He said, oh, then they'll treat you so much better, which was not true. But I did my basic at Fort Benning, did advanced infantry training at Fort McClellan in Alabama. And then I got the same offer that Earl did to go to NCO school. So I went and completed that program, which was really important to me because it delayed my arrival in Vietnam by about 6 months, which meant that the unit that I went into had gone into Cambodia and lost people in Cambodia. So I only spent a couple of weeks out tromping around the boonies, and then we got placed at a big air base doing perimeter security, and only occasionally went back up in the Central Highlands and set up ambushes to try and protect the convoys that went from Pleiku to Quy Nhon. There's a group of us get together for golf, and that group is really, really tight. I mean, I tell people we're sort of our own local version of the Band of Brothers. But for me, there's a part of that story because one of these guys, these identical twins that Earl and I were both close with all the way through grade school and high school. This is Denny, and this is Kenny. The story of the twins is there's a little more to the story because they were as close in high school as two people can be, right? I've told people that when we talked about them in high school, it was Kenny and Denny, almost like it was one word. They were that close. So they were drafted together. They went through all their training together. Denny was 5 minutes older than Kenny. And so that's probably the reason why Denny got orders to go to Vietnam. And back then you didn't have to have brothers together in a war zone. So Kenny didn't have to go. But Kenny did go to stay with his brother. And then in April 1969, they were up near the DMZ and were attacked by a full company of NVA supported by sappers and mortars. Kenny was killed and Denny was wounded. I wanted to tell that story. I've wanted to tell that story to people for a long, long time. And at the honor flight dinner, I had a chance to do that. And I'm just extraordinarily honored to have had the chance and extraordinarily grateful and almost relieved to be able to tell that story about my friends, the Brinker twins. Kenny and Denny were co-captains of the basketball team their senior year, and I took that picture from the yearbook and then put some captions on it to show that they were, when they were born, and one was KIA, killed in action, and was wounded in action in the same action. And I know that very few people probably will look at that level of detail, but I also know that they pick those things up every night, and that's going to go into a museum somewhere. And just letting Denny know that he's got people around him who love him and support him. And, we don't try and replace his brother, but we try to be there.
It is a very emotional day, especially as we move into these Vietnam veterans. It can be a very heavy day for them emotionally and mentally. So that's why we've introduced the Gibson girls.
So many getting to see for the first time names that they, people that they served with. It was overwhelming, and it's just, I can't describe it. And being able to be a part of that, it's such a privilege.
I thought just for a second, I could sit down over there in a chair in that grass and probably sit there for several hours and just look at the wall.
When you look at these names and you see the thousands, I don't know how many names are here, and just this one memorial, and we've been to several, and the names just don't stop. And these are all people that have given their lives so that we can have the freedom that we enjoy today. Without them, who knows what we'd be in.